What's up, everybody? The Rayburns may be thick as blood, but so are our guests tonight. Gino Vento and Randy Gonzalez join us in studio for the Bloodline After Show.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, everyone? What's up? I'm so happy just hearing this music because it's been so damn long that this season 2 started up. I'm your host, Blake V, and I joined you guys last season for season 1. We're doing a little bit of musical chairs. Allison was with you guys last week. She's sadly missing this week, but will be joining us next week, and we will have our full panel. Yes. You can, of course, find me on Twitter and Instagram at Blake V Media. Ladies, where can everyone find you?
Hey, everyone. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at _Abby Vega.
And hey, I'm Angela Struck, and you can find me on Twitter at TheAngelaStruck and on Instagram at Angela Struck.
Excellent, ladies. All right, cool. So we have a couple guests in studio tonight, Gino and Randy. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up?
What is up? So I sat down a little earlier to chat with Gino and Randy, and we have a very cool Spotlight On interview up on YouTube, so you guys can check that out in addition to tonight's interview. But we're very excited. Both guys were on season 1 of Bloodline. And they both reappear in season 2. It's very cool. Tonight's episode was Gino friendly because we saw Rafi Quintana deceased. Just a stab in the heart, right?
But we've seen in this show it means nothing. I mean, a lot of the characters that are deceased keep coming up, thus far.
They do, like whether it be flashback or whatever.
Yeah.
Completely true. And then I think we're going to be seeing a little bit more of Manny. Randy, of course, played Manny in season 1, the Bellman. We're going to see him a little more later, right? In a couple episodes?
Yeah.
Amazing. Great. So this is very exciting. I wasn't with you guys last week, but of course I watched the episode. And episode 2, just like all these episodes don't disappoint. There's always new stones unturned, new crazy shiz that comes up, and it's like you're always on your toes. I know that we sort of picked up on who is deceased and the whole kind of list of where things were going. Just kind of starting off on that. What are your thoughts on where everything lies at the beginning of this episode? How it starts out?
Well, I just love the show always reminds us that there's no black and white. Everything is gray, and I feel like it's continuously like, well, is this person good or is this person bad? And just that fighting, good or evil constantly. So that's kind of what I feel like this season's going to be, is really who is John and Kevin and Meg? Are they right? Are they wrong? They're dealing with this guilt, how they're going to overcome that or what. So
yeah, that's one of my favorite parts about this show. I had a very in-depth conversation with my mom and brother. Yes, we three-way called, and
it's an important matter.
It is very important. And I was just talking how it's like the people I thought in season 1 who are good, now I'm like, but are they good?
Right.
They're not really. No. So that's what I love about this show. It goes back and forth so much, and it is very gray on what's happening.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We open up on one of the famous Bloodline flashback scenes where Danny, like a silhouetted Danny, is like in Lowry's bedroom.
Right.
He's asleep with his wife.
Creepy.
And he's like, don't kill me.
Yeah.
And Danny's like, no, I got bigger plans for you, buddy.
Yeah.
And like, it's great because they're incorporating all those flashbacks and stuff.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about the fact that they do incorporate all that? I mean, we know from season 1 that Danny's dead, but it's like he's still coming back in season 2. What do you guys think about how they kind of write that and bring everything back in seasons to follow?
I think it totally works in their favor because they never really write themselves into a corner. Like, if something happens, they could still, trace back and with the flashbacks, they could be like, oh, this did happen this episode, but you missed out this whole part. We're filling it in for you.
Yeah. Which is very sneaky because it's basically that like they could just change everything. Just lie about everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you get to keep Danny.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. We were we talked about that a lot last week. We were saying how we were so happy that we still have a lot of Danny in it.
100%. Like all of us in this room are huge fans of Danny and Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah.
100%.
I feel
unbelievable actor.
Everyone who watched the show had the same reaction towards him.
Yes.
So.
But I feel like it's also the flashbacks are so apropos to the show because the characters are feeling such guilt, and they're being haunted by what they did
yes.
in season 1. So for his ghost to continually be haunting and creeping up on him, I think really makes a lot of sense story-wise as well.
Completely. And it really shows us as the viewers, it's so visual. Like
Yeah.
we know,
Yes.
we get a good sense of what they're actually going through and what
Right.
they're actually feeling.
Right.
Completely agree. And speaking of great actors, so I'm probably the last person in the world to just recently get into Sons of Anarchy, which I'm like obsessed with. I'm like binging it now and I can't.
Oh,
I've never watched it.
you're gonna say Jamie McShane?
Yes!
Yes.
Dude, he plays an Irish guy in
Cameron
Sons of
Hayes.
Anarchy. Cameron Hayes.
Are you caught up? Can I say what he
Yes,
does?
you can. Yes, I'm on season 7, but don't tell me the end.
No. But
Okay.
he kidnaps Jackson's baby.
I'm past. Yeah.
When that happened,
He plays a really integral role. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, no,
I've seen a few episodes.
I've never seen
yeah.
Sons of Anarchy. My roommate
Catch
loves
up.
it,
It's
but I've
very
never
good,
seen it.
but I'm not up to speed.
It's so good. Like after all this time, I'm like, let me give it a try. Sucked in. I've been
Good.
sucked in for like weeks now. Anyway,
Yeah,
I'm
he's
on
great.
season 7. He's so good, and I was like, wait a minute, that's Eric O'Bannon.
Oh, Eric O'Bannon. Okay.
Jamie
I was like, which
Yeah,
actor are we talking about here?
Yeah, Eric O'Bannon plays an Irish guy in Sons of
Okay.
Anarchy, and he's very good, and the show's very good. Watch it if you haven't. Anyway, side note. Yes. Okay. So, Blackmail. As always, this is a huge.
This episode.
Yes,
Yes.
huge. So that's sort of the essence of Danny's flashback that we see in the beginning. He tosses a tape onto Lowry's bed, which is essentially John's confession tape from their case years ago.
Right.
And straight up, Danny is like, this is what you're going to use against my brother. He's so devious.
I love how he like spun it around in the recording he did. He's like, my brother is very protective, and then like throws him under the bus. But like, it's kind of nice. I don't know. I like how he did it.
Yeah, and like list the ways of how he lovingly protected
Yes.
him.
My baby brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like,
And like the only reason I'm not in jail is because of you. You protected me and you did this and you did that, which in a family is great and
Yes.
important.
Yeah.
You would hope your family would do it.
Yeah.
Right.
But in the
This
law,
situation, not so
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
In the life,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, you're guilty now, so you're going to jail, Detective John Rayburn.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Really good.
So Lowry really is like the pinnacle of this manhunt. They want him, but now he has the deepest dirt
Yeah.
on John.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Gino, your role is playing Rafi. You were sort of in that circle, in that drug circle with Lowry and everything. Playing that part, did you know anything beyond season 1 when you were involved in season 1?
No, I didn't.
No.
It was kind of just written and per episode.
Went along episode by episode.
I wondered about that too. Do you get one episode at a time, or did you kind of get the full season?
No, I wish.
Okay.
Actually, no, I don't wish. I don't wish. I like the way
Okay.
it was written out like that.
Okay.
For me, at least.
And when you auditioned, was because like, Matt Weiner from like Mad Men, like I know when they do auditions, it's fake material. It's not stuff they actually use in the show.
Ooh, smart.
Because he doesn't want any of the
Can't leak.
storylines, leaking. So, was the material you auditioned with like scenes you actually ended up doing, or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
there
me,
was.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, same thing for me.
Okay.
Actually.
Yeah.
It was actually-
Yeah.
Interesting.
How very
I wonder
trusting of Bloodline.
Yeah, I wonder
Yeah.
if this season, now that it's such
well,
a
that's
hit,
interesting.
yeah.
Because I've never heard of them giving like fake scenes.
Yeah, they
because I've
use, like,
talked to
things they
other
haven't-
people from shows, and they always told us exactly what scene they did for the audition. But that's interesting that
some showrunners,
shows.
Yeah, I know
are,
they did it
yeah.
for Breaking Bad as well.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
The Walking Dead.
The Walking
does it
Right.
as
I mean, it
well.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you don't want anything leaked out. But
American Horror Story, I know they do it too.
Especially for a show that's already kind of been developed and the
Right.
ball's already rolling. People are invested and they want to know the storyline.
Yeah.
I guess season 1 of anything, it's like, whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
but maybe
who's gonna
now,
care?
I wonder if you're auditioning now, what material you would get.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good
Right.
question.
True.
Yeah,
For all the newcomers, for sure. Okay, so does anybody think it's insanely weird that John wants to become a sheriff
yes.
in the midst of all this?
I do not understand that. I mean, everybody knows that when you're running for politics, your skeletons come out of the closet. So why would he be chasing this right now?
Yeah, I
I
don't-
mean, I understand the power that if he does win, but what he'll have to go through during that election process.
It's like not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like getting a spotlight on him that he does not need right now. And so I was very confused on why he's doing this. And his wife even kind of is wondering if it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And she's right in this one, I think.
Completely. And like she doesn't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No clue.
She always seems a little clueless to me.
Yeah.
Which is interesting
Yeah.
because that says a lot to me about John Rayburn
Yeah.
and the family. It's like a reflection of the family. They're all so secretive. And like, of
Yeah.
course, John's going to be super secretive in his marriage. Like, she doesn't get to know anything.
Right.
And like, she should.
Yeah.
But he doesn't tell her anything.
Yeah.
She thinks this is a bad idea for other reasons that it is a bad idea for. And she doesn't even realize how bad an idea it really is.
Yeah.
With the full picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So, Bert, the campaign specialist,
Yeah.
comes through and she's like, isn't this a little big deal for a sheriff? But whatever, he's here to help, I guess. Anyway, so
I was thinking the same thing, though.
Yeah.
Kind of. I'm
Yeah.
like, I didn't know like a sheriff's
Don't they
race
just
was
put
this
up
big of a
some
thing,
signs
but-
like on the side of the
Yeah.
road and like that's about
I honestly
it?
didn't, to be completely honest, I didn't know you had to run for sheriff. I thought it was like a promotional thing, but I'm off base apparently.
Now you know.
Now I know. So
I guess there's like life coaches for everything.
Yeah.
There's like campaign representatives and like,
You
I
can
don't know.
spend money on anything,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suckers
Totally could.
everywhere.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. See, that Bert is smart. He's
Yes.
like, I'm going to target all these sheriffs.
Yeah.
He has a great line. What is it? I provide the babies. When she
Yeah.
asks,
Oh, yeah.
"Are you gonna
Love
Do you
kiss the
kiss the
babies
babies
first?"
too?
He says, I provide the babies.
babies.
So good.
That was great.
That was really good.
Oh, do you, Bert? Well, so he's very skilled in what he's offering. He offers a lot of help, apparently. But he specifically says to John and his wife, like, be prepared for the scrutiny. He says, be prepared for the scrutiny. You're going to open your family to all of this attention. And it's like, that was just another reinforcement of like, don't do it, John.
Yeah. Don't you think he has a little bit of that, like, he thinks he's invincible.
He
I
does.
think a little bit this season. I think he thinks there's nothing. I mean, when Wayne Lowry is threatening him with the tape, he kind of says like, well, none of it's true. Your voice is on
yeah,
the
he's
tape.
like, it's my word versus my
Yeah.
word.
Versus his.
I mean, I just think he kind of thinks like he's going to run and he's going to win and that's going to solve this. And just like he's solved every problem in the Rayburn family up till now. So,
Which is so interesting to me because I feel like it's way too soon.
Yeah.
Like this just happened in the timeline of
Yeah.
stuff. He just
Yeah.
killed Danny. It's like brand new and fresh. And like the kid just came into the picture.
Yeah.
Nolan, Danny's
Yeah.
like all this shit's going on. And it's like,
and Kevin's freaking out.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin.
It was just like
Heaven.
downfall.
He's the new Danny.
Kevin was-
he's a liability now.
Yeah.
Kevin was a liability before the Danny even was murdered, so
It's just getting
now it's just even
Amplified
worse.
now.
He should have been excluded from that plan.
Yeah,
He's not reliable.
that's so
Yeah,
true. They
it's
should
very
not
true.
have brought Kevin into the
I
play.
thought he was going to tell his wife.
Same. That's what we talked about
Yeah.
last week. We for sure we
right.
thought
Yeah.
it was gonna happen.
So Kevin has a very interesting storyline in this episode too.
So good. I love it.
like, and so unexpected. I did not expect this from Kevin.
No.
Oh, I
You did.
yeah.
You did?
I thought he was going to get.
Selling the drugs.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like,
When I
it's
saw
not
the
expected, but I understand.
You went along for the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
see,
well, okay, yeah, he would do that.
when I saw him, you know, the interaction in the bathroom at the party. After that, I kind of thought that he was because he is in desperate money problems, and I'm like, he can make money this way.
He can flip this.
I was cracking up how they
can
kept
make it
calling
work.
him Frosty.
Frosty. So good. That was one of my notes.
Frosty.
the burn for Frosty. Yeah.
They like said Frosty many times, like in the text, like, "Hey, it's Frosty."
Hungry for more pie.
Yeah, it's like wow.
Well, you gotta have code language, right?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Especially if your brother's a cop.
Yeah.
Freaking Kevin.
Gosh.
So yeah, like I was surprised by this, and I was surprised by many things, but I was surprised that Belle set him up to help him. Like, oh, this guy came through, and I'm gonna hook you up with this real estate developer, and he might help with the marina and blah blah blah. He goes and like He didn't know shit. About
No, I know.
anything.
I was like, he was not prepared for this meeting.
If I was in his shoes, I think it would have went out the same way.
Yeah, I watched it and I was like, I feel you, man.
feel you,
Like,
bro.
I totally would have been in the same situation.
You're like, thanks, guy, for your time, but I gotta go take a blow break.
Because I think for him, like in Key West and where he is, he's very informed on what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He knows when he's talking about the boats, but he is not at all prepared for the whole business side of things. So I think he thought he was going to be prepared going in there, but then was just obviously blindsided and realizing, oh my gosh, there's a whole different side to the things besides just knowing about the marina.
I think that life has come easy to the Rayburns. You know, I think that they grew up with money. They grew up with their family, knowing everybody. They have all the connections in the town. So he goes to a meeting thinking he'll win it with a smile and his great property. You know, I think he just doesn't. He's never had to work, really.
Yeah.
So that makes me think, why is he so hard on money? I'm having a hard time understanding why his family's not stepping in and being like, hey, Kevin, like, by default, like, we would own the marina or something.
I was confused by that, too.
Yeah, like, he has a very powerful, wealthy family.
Pride?
That's what I was thinking,
It
pride.
seems like the family never really helped their kids. It's because, like,
Yeah.
everyone did their own thing regardless of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
know?
Like what happened to Danny. And Danny's proof of it sort of, like,
That's
going
true.
wrong.
Yeah.
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 So,
That is a good point. That like they didn't give a free pass to Danny, and everyone kind of went off on to do. That's a good point.
Which
So,
is, again, sort of interesting. I feel like it opens another can of worms to the Rayburn family. Like, they didn't, if that's true, then they didn't help any of their kids.
yeah.
And, like, why?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, and they are getting the family business too. So it's like, why wouldn't they help them now before the business is
Prepare
theirs?
them to run it.
You know,
If you give the Rayburn in to Kevin, he doesn't know how to have a conversation with the real estate guy. So, like, what's going to happen?
I'm definitely not staying there. Man, he's quitting for sure.
Yeah.
He's done. Well, Kevin won't be able to pay him, so
Yeah, no.
regardless,
Peace.
he's gone anyway. Yeah, that part's super weird to me. So I hope we're going to see a little more about
which
of
actually
that.
does happen this episode, right? Little Jake
Yeah,
quits.
his
Yeah.
business partner leaves, or his
Yeah.
employee, little Jake.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which
And he
was his incentive to become Mr. Frosty.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Precisely.
you're right.
And he was like,
I forgot about that part.
and that guy's like, come on, man, I got a life. Like, I got to peace out because I got to make some money. And Kevin's like, don't do this to me, bro.
Yeah.
It's so
We've had a good
selfish.
run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's
He
like,
doesn't shake his hand.
no.
Kevin kind of gives me anxiety
Yes.
when I'm watching him. I'm like, I feel like he's just gonna do something stupid
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
spill
Oh, yeah.
some secret.
Yeah.
That's what I'm nervous about. That he's gonna just be drunk or high and just spill.
Is he next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's next to go?
I don't know. Or he's next to act. I don't know.
That was a premonition right
Yeah. Something.
I think he might be next. Yeah, but I don't blame. Who was it? Little G? What?
Little
Jake.
Jake.
Little Jake.
Little Jake.
Little Jake.
Little gangster.
Yeah, it's like little cheap.
I like little G better.
I do too.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame Little
No,
Jake.
I don't blame him at
Like,
all.
I'd bail too. I mean, that's a stressful situation. Kevin as a boss, I don't know.
I like
okay.
his headbands.
I do too.
yeah,
I'm
his
a big,
headbands.
I'm a
It's
big,
like a
They do.
t-shirt sleeve, right? Is that what it is? He cuts them off.
I'm a big fan
He takes
of those
all of
too.
Eric O'Bannon's t-shirt sleeves.
Yeah.
And puts them on. Like, yo, bro, have these.
He donates them to the
funny.
cause. Okay, I also thought it was funny, like the Coke exchange and the pies.
Yeah.
Personally, I thought his method was like mostly good, but a little suspicious. Because okay, he takes the pie, he goes to the bathroom, he trashes the
Yeah.
pie. If a waitress comes into the bathroom, she's like, why is there a whole pie here?
Yeah.
Like, I just
Yeah.
sold this
But
pie.
why is she in the men's bathroom?
That's true.
Clean it.
No, yeah.
Was it a one-person
yeah.
bathroom or a men's
Well, I guess
bathroom?
my
can't
thing
remember.
too, though, is like if I was like I've been a waitress before. If I went in the bathroom and saw food, my first instinct wouldn't be, oh, someone's selling drugs.
Someone
I would,
puked.
I would just think something, someone just didn't like their. that would be the last
okay.
thing I thought.
Okay,
Rayburns.
I shouldn't be a waitress,
Yeah.
clearly.
You're a cop.
Yeah,
You're a cop.
I don't know. I don't think I would automatically assume drugs, but
I'm like, pie in the trash can. Who's dealing? Who's dealing in here?
after watching this show, maybe that would be my first thought.
right.
But
Well, I just kept thinking, like, I love pie, and pie's delicious.
I know. I was like,
why would you
waste
trash
the
it?
pie?
I do like how he
I'd like-
kind of had like the upper hand, where he's like, "Hey, we're doing this my way."
yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was kind of cool,
That was
Kevin,
cool.
because it's definitely
That's
not the
the-
type of character that would you would get that vibe.
Right, that's the coolest Kevin's ever been.
Yeah.
Even when he walks
out, he was kind of smiling, like I kind of like, oh shit, it worked. Yeah.
Like he just walked out of like a sick audition. He's like,
Yeah.
He can't deal with the real estate meeting, but he knows how to do the drug meetings.
How to bullshit.
Yeah.
Levels of pressure, I guess. Yeah, and he wouldn't even look at the guy. He was just like, Psh, I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying I would like eat the pie first and then like put the drugs in the middle of where the pie section that I ate.
Right, at
was
least,
from.
at least a slice.
Right?
Yeah.
One.
Yeah, I think he like dipped a finger and I'm like, not enough.
One slice.
Not enough. At least a slice. At least. Okay. Ooh, okay.
Breaking stuff. I love Bloodline.
You just want
Pie.
You just got pie on the brain.
Pie on the mind.
I got so excited about it. Okay, so another sort of piece of this puzzle that I think is very interesting is Danny's son Nolan.
Yeah.
And not only the fact that he is introduced to this family now, which alone is interesting. I'm sure the family is like, what's going on? But he is like a very troubled child, and he's very sassy to everyone.
Definitely
He's just like Danny.
Mama Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
the first time Mama Ray finds out about him, and then they actually meet this episode.
Yes.
Right.
And he's such like a little.
He's a little shit.
Yeah, he really
He's
is.
so good though.
He's so
great.
good.
Oh man.
Good. His
So good.
mannerisms, he looks like Danny.
Right?
Everything.
Like he does the neck thing that Danny does.
Well,
yeah.
I was actually wondering if he was the same actor who played young Danny, and
He
he
is.
is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
which it makes sense because that why they look alike.
Which
but-
is so clever on Bloodline casting's part.
Yeah.
Because, like, how perfect is that? I mean,
Yeah.
he looks exactly like Ben Mendelsohn, this kid.
It's unreal.
Yeah, ONT.
I mean, it looks just like his son.
It really does.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because it's like, you know, we see the flashbacks of Danny as a kid, and he's like wholesome but hurt, you know, and like his sister died, and it's like on him, and you can sort of see the pressure that he grew up with, and then to see now his son, and his son is just totally like corrupted, and whatever like pressure and stress and trouble that Danny felt as an adult is totally on this kid now. So it's like, you know, it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how he plays out. And he was just like such a jerk to everyone.
Yeah, he just starts calling what's the daughter? Angela?
the dead one.
The dead one. Yeah, he just
Oh,
called her
yeah.
the dead one.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
My dad liked the dead one the most.
Yeah.
Who says that?
I know. Who does say
Who
that?
says that?
Awful.
That is so
Yeah.
awful.
You know, I have the feeling that Danny was obviously a terrible father, and he's just got like, you know, a hard shell on him, and he just pushes people away with his attitude and everything. But I think there's going to be more to him. I feel like we're going to see another
Well, I'm just
side
excited
to
to
him.
see what him and Eric are up to.
Right?
I know.
They didn't interact this episode, but I'm really excited because I was super shocked after the first episode when that's who he went to see. So I'm really excited to see how that all plays out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a brief second. We know that Danny was besties with O'Bannon, and now to see that his son is involved in this, what do you guys think they might be cooking up? Do you think it's some more blackmail? Are they going to try to use, you know, the kid to infiltrate and get some?
Who's they?
O'Bannon.
O'Bannon used Nolan? I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
No.
There's some people that will get introduced that, but it's definitely Blackmail is the central point here. for
Yeah.
sure.
Interesting. I know, because like Danny definitely set up the scene for Blackmail to be happening to John. So I just wonder, like, it would be so interesting if O'Bannon was like carrying out the rest of Danny's plan by sending in Nolan to like infiltrate or do something, get, you know, tug on the heartstrings of this family, like, oh, you know, this kid doesn't have a dad now, and like play on John
Yeah.
to feel guilty for killing this kid's
I
father.
don't think that O'Bannon is like the mastermind
That's what I was
enough.
about to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like how he, like, no one knows where he is right now, and he has so much information that no one knows that he has. And I feel like most people wouldn't look at him as a threat at all, but he has all this knowledge that no one knows. Because when you find out he was in the hotel room with Danny, season 1, you didn't know that. So
I definitely think he's gonna come up and play a role, but I don't think. I don't think he's like in his core evil, trying to mess with people. I think he's just kind of caught up in it all, and I don't think he's smart enough to.
Yeah, he's not the master.
Yeah, I don't think that at all.
He definitely
either.
has the power to bring John down, though.
Yeah.
With what he knows.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, he's
A lot of people can bring John down right now.
I know.
and he like doesn't care.
I know, he thinks that he thinks that his word is greater than everyone else's.
Yeah.
And he thinks that that's going to save him and his name, but I don't know.
For his whole life,
crazy.
it has. I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess so. I don't know. He's a little delusional, I think. Okay, so Alec gets introduced.
We were excited to have him back.
Yes.
Allison's like, we get the eye candy Alec. Where'd he go?
This
He's
is true.
back.
This happened. Yeah, and he sort of materialized in a strange way. He just like came to her apartment and was like, hey. And he felt it was a bad time, so he was gonna leave. And then I thought her whole like thing was a little weird. Like, oh no, stay.
Yeah.
Let's get a movie.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want or whatever.
Yeah.
So, like, it was just a little random. He just showed up.
Yeah.
She was supposed to. Wasn't she supposed to be like laying low anyway? I think she just got back from.
No,
She didn't go to the
hadn't
keys
left
yet.
yet.
Okay.
She was supposed to
Yeah.
go home
Yeah.
for the weekend, take the break off, but she was just kind of laying low in her apartment.
So it's like I wonder, like, does she not have plans to come back or something? Was it like a send off? Maybe. I don't
No,
know.
because remember are you talking about plans to come back too?
Yeah, or like be with Alec.
Yeah,
I don't know. Her,
No,
just the
that
whole
thing
meeting was a
seemed
little weird.
It just didn't kind of go anywhere. Like I didn't know the purpose
Yes.
of that scene really to further the story. Like I don't know. It just didn't.
I guess that's what I'm feeling. Like it was sort of unnecessary to the episode.
Yeah.
But that's how Bloodline does it. They set us up going, why did we need to see that? And like 3 episodes down the line, Alec's going to be killed or something. Maybe he's next. I saw his face.
He definitely
read his face.
something with him will happen.
Yeah, that's what,
For sure.
that's what I was saying. Like, I assumed that they were just kind of reintroducing him because he
Yeah.
wasn't in episode 1, and they needed to kind of show that he was still like relevant. Because then, if he pops up randomly and something big happens, people would be like, "Wait, where's he been for a while?"
Yeah.
So I think it was kind of just a small little, "Hey, I'm still here."
Everything happens for a
Yeah,
reason.
exactly.
On Bloodline.
No, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just like a little introduction to him being back.
How much of it? I have a question for you guys. Like, is any of it improv, or is it all like you stick directly to the word and it's all pretty much set?
I think they have a little bit of freedom with. You have freedom with the words you use, but
Yeah.
the general story is, you stick to that.
Yeah, like
Okay.
the context
Yeah.
has to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I stuck to the context. I didn't improvise anything.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
I guess it would
Yeah.
just
I'd like
depend
to
on.
know.
I feel like certain characters and maybe certain scenes would be easier to improv, but I feel like so much of this. I mean, there's
One
certain
thing,
things
it's like a
you
web
need to
that
be-
leads to another, so
It's
nothing
like
can really
exactly
yeah.
venture off at all.
Calculated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And it, like, I'm sure it depends on the scene, too. Like,
Yeah.
if it's overly emotional, you probably have
Right.
more freedom to, like, get a little...
Good point.
Yeah, just so
a
it's
little
like
more into
there
it.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So Gino brought up this point earlier. I didn't remember this, so I might be the only one, but I'll bring it up in case you guys didn't know it either. So we were talking about the photograph that John finds
Yes.
of Raffi. And we see at the end of the episode that it turns out that the girl who was working in the wherever she was working, the restaurant, was working for Lowry
Yeah. Yeah.
after the whole thing,
Yeah.
and is Raffi's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was like, what? But I guess everyone knew.
Oh.
So that's okay.
Well,
Yeah.
wait,
And that's why
what-
he tears it up.
Yeah.
Because that's
would
just
connect it
another
to Lowry.
connection
Yeah.
to.
He's trying to get rid of the evidence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he's turning down the Danny path. It's very
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
And I love how they like foreshadow it, or they kind of set it up with that speech of him at the at the Rayburn Inn, kind of talking about right or wrong.
Yeah.
Kind of that, this whole story that happened. And
Yes.
it ends with him doing that as a perfect setup.
Oh, Randy, so
Perfect.
Every
true.
episode, I just start thinking, I'm like, John is the bad guy here. He drags his other siblings into it.
That's
And then he drags them in.
I don't think. Oh, that's so hard.
But
Yeah, I can't. He's the bad guy. I mean, Kevin and Meg are so selfish and all over the place too, though.
But I think he drags them in and then puts all this pressure on the crime he committed, like, but you guys can't say anything, and it's, I don't know. I think
they
John's
also
the
come to
mastermind.
him to fix everything. I mean, the poor guy has got the world on his shoulders, I feel like. And yes, he is doing some things wrong now, but what's his choice? He's got children, he's got a wife. I mean, he doesn't want to go to jail. And he's murdered somebody, and he's kind of trying to cover it up.
His brother.
Yeah.
His brother.
His brother.
Yeah.
But he's just digging himself in a deeper hole at work too now.
And
Marco's gonna figure it out.
Last season, Danny was so awful to them that, I mean, he was somewhat justified. I don't know. It's tricky.
Yeah, I mean, Danny did get pretty bad by
Yeah.
the end of season 1. And I don't know what the moral of the story is. It's like, you're trying to help your brother. You help him, you help him, you help him, you help him, you help him.
You kill him.
You kill him. Yeah, no, and then like, he like dimes you out, and then you're screwed because you've got the history of helping him. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, John was in a bad spot. It's like,
Yeah.
well,
And he left a paper trail.
Yeah.
With the Carlos Mejia thing and the check, right?
Yeah. That was a
Yeah.
whole
Oh,
different
yeah.
thing.
Totally. I mean, there's so many little pieces. Like, he would have been screwed either way. If
Yeah.
he turned him into the police, there was all this stuff on him. But then if he killed him, he's got this whole thing he's got to cover up. And
He just got himself in too deep, and then now it's way too hard to fix it.
It's interesting to me that a police officer did such a sloppy job of covering up this murder. You know, I mean,
because he was working with Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin's.
There's
having
just
him help.
so many
Not a good idea.
Messed it up.
loose
And he
ends.
sold the boat at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, in like a very sketchy way, though.
Yeah,
Right?
he says, don't ever dock it here again.
Yeah.
That was episode 1, right?
Because wasn't that the
yeah, it was-
boat?
That was episode
Wasn't
1.
that the
Yeah.
boat they like transferred stuff in? Because they did that zoom in of like where that underneath part. Do you know? what I'm
Yes.
talking about?
Yeah.
Yes. He was like hosing out the
Yeah,
under
that's where they
part or
moved
whatever.
The drugs, right?
drugs.
Yes.
Yes.
So he's like, I need to get rid of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin's a mess.
Yeah,
such a mess.
he stresses me out a little bit.
He stresses me out too because I don't understand his deal. So I hope that we see more of his deal.
He's just an addict, I think. I mean, he's like addicted to cocaine.
Do we think he had this addiction going on all through season 1, but we just didn't see it yet?
Didn't we see glimpses
think we
of
saw
it?
some of it.
Yeah, we saw some of it.
Okay.
But now I think his stress levels
drinking.
are high, so it's like triggering even more.
Drinking too last season.
A lot.
Yeah,
Drinking
a lot of
was there
drinking.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of it last season was showed once Belle left him.
Right.
You know,
Right.
It like all came back.
Yeah.
So she's kind of like the good thing for him right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's scary because she's pregnant now.
Yeah.
And like,
I always get nervous
Him as a
when
dad.
there's like drugs and all this crime involved, and then there's like an innocent pregnant wife. I just get nervous she's gonna be used for collateral or like blackmail or something.
she will.
I get
Watch Sons of
nervous.
Anarchy.
I get nervous because another show I did that happened, and the pregnant fiance ended up dead, and I'm like, this is just no.
Don't get pregnant.
Haunted scene.
Good PSA.
Ever. Yeah, that's the moral of that story.
Yep.
What do we think of Lenny Potts?
He's adorable.
You think so?
I'm not a fan of him.
I don't like him.
In like a
Really?
awful way.
I like. To me, he seems like a good guy. I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm.
So you feel like he's really trying to like stand up for the wrongdoings of the family and like justify Danny.
Well, I think he's kind of carried the guilt because I think he knew what was going on, obviously, the whole time that Danny was getting, the blame for everything. And I think now he's seeing and knows a lot of what the bad things.
But I think, even in that confrontation, because he knew that Danny was beat by Robert Rayburn when he was a kid, and he's
Yes.
kind of never really told anyone this whole time up until now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's kind of, because even John pointed out this episode when he confronts him, he's like, oh, you're just carrying that old guilt. Now he's trying to like right his wrongs.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's why he's like sticking around, and that's why he gave Danny the tape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what his motives are.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I 100% agree that he is totally doing this because he's carried this guilt of feeling like he didn't really do his job and he held that secret and didn't do the right thing when he could have.
Yeah.
So that, I guess I don't really know what his motives are either. But to me,
Yeah.
he just seems like such a nice old man. I'm like, Am I wrong?
I'm like, he better get out of there, or else he's gonna end up burned in a boat as well. I'm just like, they're whatever means necessary to cover up this story. So
very true. And he sort of like saunters in, just kind of like kind of mysterious. He's sort of just like off in the back, and he's like, I know what you did.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna just like hang it over your head.
So I
for a
guess
long
this
time.
episode, he's the one that leads Sally to Danny's
The
house.
apartment.
Yeah.
Where she finds the picture
And
of
knows-
Danny and Nolan.
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
then
God, yes.
finds out that John lied about being in Miami. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah. Well,
So he's not that good.
but like, is he though? It's just it's I don't know. It depends on whose side you're on.
it remains to be seen for sure.
Guess we'll find
Rafi,
out.
don't you want your murders, like your friend's murder, your business partner's murder, to be solved?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
He's like, no. Team Rayburn.
better off dead.
Yeah,
Rafi,
Rafi
deceased.
is for sure.
Yeah, Rafi was a real bad guy.
Yeah,
You prep for that. You were scary.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks.
Like, thanks,
I
I guess.
love being
I
called
don't know. Is that good?
Natural.
It's good.
No, I'm nice.
Yeah.
I'm nice.
Just burns people on his free time.
Yeah.
Maybe it's those bleached tips.
It's the frosted tips.
Yeah, it's the
Frosty.
That's the scariest.
You're the OG
Frosty.
Frosty. You're the real Frosty.
Man. Kevin needs to
He's
back
stealing your
off.
name.
He's stealing my thunder, man.
frosted tips. That's like so insane.
Yeah, I know. I was like, do the dance moves.
Well, to be fair, it wasn't only frosted tips. It was like the whole thing was.
The whole
frosted.
thing was
Yeah,
frosted.
yeah,
It's like-
bleached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely. It was a thorough job.
Did you? Sorry.
Yeah,
did
no,
you do
please.
that for? Like they did that to you,
I
right?
did that
Or-
for the audition.
You did it for the audition.
I was supposed to have a mohawk when I got the size and the character breakdown, and I told my agent, like, no, it's not gonna look good. That's gonna look whack, because my hair was as long as you saw it.
Yeah.
She's like, all right, just do something funky, and I was like,
In fact, side note, if you look on IMDb, I think he's credited as Mohawk Guy.
yeah, first 2 episodes. I think
that's so
episode
funny.
4, we're like, I'm doing the binoculars, and then episode 7, it's Mohawk Man.
What a great
And then-
idea.
yeah, so she's like, just do something funky with your hair. It's like, all right, cool, I'm gonna bleach it, and I went, I got it done. After I got it done, same day, I made that decision. I was like, all right, I gotta go do this.
That's
She's like,
awesome.
maybe don't. That might not be a good idea.
It's like, oh, too late.
Oh, well. And it worked. It was cool. And
Totally
Yeah.
worked.
yeah, they all liked it. So
Yeah, you stood out.
Yeah,
really.
yeah. I thought
on
it was
the show.
great.
Yeah, it was great.
It was super good. Cool. Do we have any
Carlos.
more? Oh, okay.
And,
Carlos.
Kick it off, girl.
and well, Carlos obviously was a big part in this, and you kind of, I mean, I don't know even where to start with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way he taunted John kind of at the end.
Yeah.
Was I didn't like that either. I was like, Carlos.
Yeah. So that's something where I feel like Wayne Laurie definitely, obviously got to him
yeah.
first.
yeah.
But we were actually, because we watched the episode today again, we were trying to figure out, because we both didn't figure it out. Who does he get in the car with at the end?
when he runs off
Oh, yeah.
after talking to John. Who do you think is driving? Is it one of
Wayne
Laurie's
Laurie's guys?
Oh, I don't. Do we know? We don't know, right? Like it doesn't
Is it
show.
the guy
He
that's
just
in
gets
charge
in.
of Wayne Lowry? I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know.
making a
Oh.
guess. Maybe it's him. I can't think of his name
Okay,
right
maybe.
now.
They don't introduce a name for him.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
Maybe it's him.
I just thought it was him like taunting John, you know.
Yeah.
John, you could tell how frustrated he was getting because
Yeah, but somebody
Carlos,
told him to do that.
Well, yeah, of
Yeah.
course he was told to do this, but it frustrated me. I'm like, no,
like, back off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But-
because the Rayburns did a lot for him. and-
exactly. And
Manny,
so
you worked with him. What do you?
He's my
That's
cousin.
his cousin.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like,
Yeah.
because it seems like he had good intentions when he went to Meg.
yeah.
But you could tell somebody, obviously, Wayne got to him before that confrontation happened with John and kind of like was like, hey, you're going to tell him this or we're going to kill you and your family or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what it seemed like because you could tell he was like lying to him, but he was still scared because even when the car shows up, he just like,
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go.
Yeah.
He was like a kid that's been told what to do. He
Exactly.
wasn't like standing strong in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even when he was saying the words, they weren't coming out supernatural. It was
his.
like scripted. Like,
Yeah.
I'm saying this, and
He felt bad, I think, doing it to John
Yeah.
because the family has done so much for.
it was interesting though, because then at that point you truly do. John sometimes just plays off like, I'm doing this, but you could tell he was like, shoot. I mean, what
Yeah.
can I do here?
Because he was even like, what I forgot what he says, but he's like, you know, I've looked out for you, and you know, I wanted your help in return, and this is that fucking day that I need your help.
Yeah.
I never heard him
Yeah.
say fuck so many times.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was like every other word. I mean, he was
pissed.
super upset, super like passionate about the fact that Carlos was not cooperating with him in that
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had a right to be, but that was a pretty intense scene. I liked that because like until this point, you don't see that side of Carlos either, and it was interesting.
Right.
And-
He's like the innocent guy asking for help.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he wasn't so innocent.
Him and his chicken fights.
Yeah.
You're trusting all the wrong people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Your radar's off.
I need a guys.
It's okay. One more episode. It'll.
But my
it'll get
instincts
us
are right on Marco. Marco's figuring it out.
He is.
I dig Marco.
I
Yeah.
do too.
Yeah.
He's cool. And
You know what? He's the one guy who I think is like,
good.
yeah, exactly.
He's a
He's the one
straight
that has no
shooter.
real gray
That
area.
is
I
so
feel like.
true.
Yeah.
That's a great point. I was saying earlier, like, there's nobody that's really good or completely bad. He is kind of completely good.
He
I think.
is, and
Yeah.
I'm saying that he is gonna. I said this last week a bunch, but I feel like he already kind of knows that something is off about John and the whole case and the whole situation, and I think he's gonna look into it on his own because he's gonna realize that he can't obviously say anything to John about it, and I think he's gonna figure stuff out.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. He's going to be some major opposition to John. And even just the way that he talks to John and like talk to Kevin about the boat and stuff.
Yes.
He's super like sort of condescending and just sort of like laying the trap for them to step in it.
Like he already knows the answer.
Yes.
Exactly.
Setting it up like, oh, so it did happen that way. Oh,
Him
so,
with Kevin,
you know?
him with Kevin was really interesting.
That was stressful.
Yes, because I
so
thought
stressful.
Kevin. Because
Kevin was high too.
Yeah.
And Kevin cannot do a poker face. He was stressing and
Well, which was cool when he did his drug transaction, because
Right.
that's when he had his poker face on.
Yeah,
Well, maybe
but
that's
with that boat
his-
scene last week. That was
It was rough.
and
Yeah.
Marco knew exactly because Marco has this very calm demeanor when he's asking these questions, and then he just sees Kevin get riled up, and Kevin kind of sets himself up to look guilty, whereas Marco's just kind of being calm, you know, asking the questions.
I can't stand that. Like, like I get fired up. So if I'm talking to somebody who's super calm, I'm like, what is wrong with you? Why am I so fired up and you're not?
Exactly.
Like, what is
Yeah.
happening? Oh my God, I couldn't take it. I was so stressed.
Oh, yeah.
But then I also felt for Kevin because, like, don't include me in a murder. Anybody?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not the one to go to. Please, like, keep that on your own. Because, like, I would be like Kevin, and I'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna ruin this. Yeah.
Insurance scam, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean. I don't know. Don't look at me.
Gosh. Oh my gosh.
That would be exactly
and then
like
John
me.
coming down on Kevin. Kevin's like, I don't want you. What do you want me to do?
What do you
Like,
want from me?
Yeah. So.
Meg just should have stayed with Marco.
Yeah.
So that she could have used her romantic connection, because I think he's gonna get onto things.
You're right.
No,
She
yeah.
messed it up.
And if
she messed it up.
had him wrapped around her finger, her finger still, maybe things will, would be different. I don't know.
This is all Meg's fault.
Meg's fault.
Yep.
All Meg.
Forget everyone else. It's all Meg.
She needs to go to jail.
Meg's fault.
Yeah. Lock her up.
For sure. Let's jump into a few predictions, and then let's ask the guys a couple more questions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right. So I'm still of the opinion that Nolan's got something to do with gaining intel from the Rayburn family. Maybe O'Bannon's not the mastermind, but somebody is. Like, someone's orchestrating this venture between the two of them. So he's gonna be up to no good. I feel like it's no good.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What do you guys think?
I definitely think Nolan's no good. I guess my main thing right now is I'm just waiting to see what exactly it is that Marco finds and how he kind of goes about. Because I'm very convinced that he knows that John is off within the whole investigation. So I'm just curious to how he's going to go about figuring it out and like proving it.
I agree. I'm very interested in the Marco storyline and how he's going to do that while still maintaining his friendship with the Rayburns, which I think is very important to him. But then I'm also really curious about John and this election. What's going to come out? I
feel like it's going to be a train wreck.
Yeah. And I mean, now he's covering, messing with evidence. I'm curious to see what his character is going to get up to. Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, so I know you guys know a lot more beyond season 2, but based on season 2, what do you guys think?
Well, because I haven't finished, I will say I'm with you on the whole Marco thing. I am curious about all that. And I'm also curious about what John will do to cover his tracks for the election.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
do you
I
think?
did finish the entire season, so I kind of don't want to say it was right or wrong.
You're in dangerous territory.
But some of you brought up some very good points. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. We'll take it.
Yeah.
We'll take it, Randy.
That's good.
All right, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. It was super cool to have you guys in studio and get your opinion on everything.
Cool being here.
Yeah, thanks for having
Thank
us.
Absolutely. I think that'll do it for season 2, episode 2. You guys can, of course, join us next week, Monday night, same time, same place. For episode 3, we're very excited. Allison will be joining us. It will be a full panel, and we may have a very special guest next week. We'll keep you posted. I have been your host, Blake V. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Blake V Media. Ladies, where can everyone find you?
Hello, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at _Abby Vega.
And I'm Angela Struck, and you can find me on Twitter at the Angela Struck and on Instagram at Angela Struck.
Great. And guys, one more time, where can everyone find you?
So you can find me on Twitter at Randy G, and on Instagram at Randy_G.
Instagram, Gino Vento, GINOVENTO, and Twitter as well.
Excellent. All right, guys. Great show. Thanks so much to our guests, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz. See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.